It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and thanks for tuning in to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Each and every weekday at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. So I invite you, please tune in each and every weekday at this time. And this show is a show with a positive message all about business owners, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay and regional communities. As always, I invite you over to my website, tampabayradio.com, where you can learn more about the show, see all of our past shows and upcoming guests. And also on the homepage, you'll see our guest network tab. You can see all the interviews for each and every one of the guests that have been on the show. If also you are a fellow business owner or somebody in the community with a story to tell or just somebody making a difference out there, I'd like to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm always looking for content for this show. I talk with anywhere between 1, 2, and 3 different people each and every morning. So if you'd like to come in and make an appearance on the show, I invite you to please reach out to me. Best way to get me is through my contact form on tampabayradio.com. Click on that and send me a message. Let me know what it is that you're doing and why you'd like to come on the show. Or you can just email me directly, jamie@tampabayradio.com. Also, as always, I invite you over to all my different social networking sites to keep up to date with the show. Facebook.com/That Business Show. Also, Twitter under Jamie_Meloni. And we put all the shows up on demand at iTunes as well. Stay tuned for the second half of the show where I am going to be the guest. I'm going to talk about my business, something that I haven't done for a little bit of time on this show. I'm going to be talking all about foreclosures, how to make effective offers on properties. I'm going to be talking about government-owned properties, a.k.a. HUD homes. I'll probably touch on a little bit about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac properties, something that I could talk for hours on. And I myself am a leading real estate agent in the country, a nationally ranked Coldwell Banker agent, ranking number 4 last year nationally in homes sold, number 10 the year before, and specialize in the sale of bank-owned properties. You'll notice that when you're over at tampabayradio.com. And as always, if you're looking to sell a home in the region, there is a link on the homepage that says Sell Your Home. And click on that, and I'll send you over a free home valuation, and we can talk about maybe getting your home onto the market. I'm going to bring on my first guest for this show. Karen McAllister is the Media Relations Manager with AT&T in the Tampa Bay area in Southwest Florida. She previously worked as a journalist for 20-plus years and has extensive experience leading change in newsrooms and managing news websites. She's with us today to discuss hurricane preparedness for businesses and also AT&T's It Can Wait program, taking a pledge against texting and driving. Karen, welcome to the show today.
Thanks so much, Jamie. Really good to be here.
Well, up to the mic a little bit there. Couldn't quite hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Jamie. It's really good to be here.
Absolutely. And thanks you very much for taking some time out of your day and coming to join me here on this early Monday morning. So let's start with a little bit about your background. 20-plus years as a journalist, now media relations manager. So tell the audience a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Let's see. Well, I've been with AT&T in media relations a little over a year. And before that, my entire career was in the journalism world. So I was editor of TBO.com, and I was also an editor at TampaBay.com. And before that, I worked on digital sites in Fresno, California, and then also on the print side.
Well, today you're in here. We're going to discuss hurricane preparedness for businesses. Where we are May 18th here, we're about 2 weeks away from the start of the hurricane season. So I think it's a good topic to get business owners up to date on, and also just general homeowners as well, on hurricane preparedness. So let's talk about some of the tips. What are some of the ways people can prepare to be ready for this hurricane season? Right.
Well, we were fortunate to have relatively quiet seasons the last few years. So we really need to think about preparing and always being prepared as business owners.
We haven't. I can remember back 2004 was a terrible season, and that's when insurance rates started to skyrocket. We saw homeowners rates go. I think they tripled or so. That's when the citizens insurance came into play, and it's just since then it's been a downtime in certain terms of hurricanes. But it's something we got to be prepared for. Something we can't let our guard down. So
exactly.
Share with us some of the tips and ways people can be prepared for us.
Okay. Well, the first thing that a business owner should do is to outline a detailed plan for evacuation and shelter-in-place plans. So be sure that all your employees know what your plans are. And this is the time before hurricane season actually starts to actually schedule some training with your employees
Okay.
to make sure they're completely aware of what they will do in the event of severe weather or a hurricane, God forbid.
Right. Okay.
So that's the key part right now before the season actually gets started, is to be sure your employees are aware of plans
Okay.
and aware of a meeting place for everybody.
Okay. All right. So, what's another good tip? Obviously, power supplies, things of that nature. Safety kits, things of that nature. Talk to me a little bit more about some other tips.
Well, one other thing a business owner can do now before the season starts is to set up a call forwarding service to a predetermined backup location. That way, they can have one or multiple hotline numbers for employees, so that their families and customers can reach them during severe weather.
Okay. Very good tip.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
And then to back up data to the cloud. That way, if they're at this point routinely backing up files to an offsite location, they'll, of course, have access when they're not in their office, if they're routinely backing up their data, they'll, of course, be able to access.
Yeah, that's something I touch on a number of times, is the importance of keeping data off-site, and something that I do and stuff, and you don't want to lose your data, and very important to have an off-site backup system for your business. But go ahead.
Right. And as I said, this is the time to do it. In the few weeks before hurricane season gears up, I mean, in the last couple of weeks, we have had some of our thunderstorms, just showers. It's some of our thunderstorms in our area just feel like it's a hurricane out there. We have each day, it seems, is a natural disaster out there. Some of these days, of these 4 or 5 o'clock p.m. showers that we get every day. Let's also talk about the importance of having insurance records in place and ready. We should have those definitely on hand in a safe place, in a safe deposit box, or in a safe that's not going to be affected by a disaster. Let's talk a little bit about that. Right, absolutely. Keep your records in a place where a safe place. So that you know where they are, you know how to access them, and they're safe during a storm. Absolutely. But another thing is, regardless of how big or small your business is, to have a crisis management team and coordinate efforts with neighboring businesses so that you're all aware of what your plan is during a storm and you can help each other. Severe weather, of course, may affect your suppliers for your business. So be sure to coordinate with those suppliers as well, so that there's a coordinated plan.
I tell you, another good tip is always to have cash on hand. Don't rely on your debit cards, credit cards, things of that nature. Those types of systems will be down in the event of a major hurricane. So it's always advisable to have cash on hand, as well as also have generators with fuel ready to go at your business. That's also a very good tip to have. Share with us some other tips that you have for
generators or a backup cellular network. Something like AT&T Remote Mobility Zone will allow organizations to protect their communications by installing a small cell site. So just the same as at home, we may have, of course, backup chargers, backup batteries. At your business, you may want to have a backup cell site that you can easily transport with you wherever you're taking your business.
Also note that if you have natural gas to your facility, you also want to know where your shut off for that is. So be sure to shut off natural gas to minimize any effects of potential fires, things of that nature. Disconnect the main electrical feeds to the facility. There's a number of different things that business owners need to be aware of, and also homeowners as well. Hurricane shutters may be advisable. Tampa hasn't been hit, though, directly by a hurricane, I don't think, since the early 20th century. So we're lucky in where we're situated. I can remember when I came to Florida out of West Virginia, people were saying, oh, hurricanes don't hit because we're in the Bay Area. And I believe that for quite some time, until about 2004 hit. And then we have all these different hurricanes. And that was quite the crazy year. I can remember the one hurricane that went across the state and then turned back around and came across the state again. And at the time, I was working at Cargill, which went on to become Mosaic. And if anybody's ever driven down Highway 41, you'll see these two large stacks on each side of the road. These are gypsum stacks. This is a byproduct of the reaction in making the fertilizer material, which goes on down in facilities. Anybody has ever been on the south end of Bayshore and looks across the bay, they can see these large mountains across the bay. And on top of the stacks is this huge lake of 2% phosphoric acid. It's called pond water at the facility, and it's used for rinsing and cleaning different things in the facility, as well as in some of the reactions. And I can remember leaving the facility in 2004 when the hurricanes were hitting, and watching the water flow down the sides of those stacks into the Alafaya River, which created a huge environmental disaster for Cargill at the time. They had to re-engineer the facility, cost them millions upon millions of dollars. It was just a huge environmental disaster. So obviously things of that nature, businesses need to be prepared and aware of things such as that. Cargill at the time was not prepared for that. They are now since, I'm sure, very prepared for that. But again, something, environmental issues people need to be aware of. And, I can just remember that from back in 2004, something, that it killed millions and millions and millions of fish. And driving home that day and watching the water run down the mountains, I can remember looking at that and thinking, that's not good. So, going to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, we'll be talking a little bit more with Karen McAllister, Media Relations Manager with AT&T. We're going to be discussing their It Can Wait program about taking a pledge against texting and driving. And you're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their Shop at Home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Still big delays this morning on westbound I-4 from the Plant City area through McIntosh Road due to a crash. Also to Howard Franklin Bridge. That's slow into Tampa. Typical stuff there. The Courtney Campbell Causeway crash on the Big Bridge has traffic slow in the eastbound direction towards Tampa and southbound US 19 south of Tampa Road. Had a lane block there as well. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Staples. Staples has everything your business needs to keep your employees energized. From coffee, water, and soda to granola bars and chips. Get a 30.6-ounce can of Maxwell House Original Roast Coffee for just $5.99. Offer ends 5/23. While supplies last. See store or website for details. Staples. Make more happen.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Expect delays across the Howard Franklin Bridge approaching Tampa due to an accident right before Kennedy Boulevard that's off to the side. Also a crash northbound Clearwater Largo Road just south of West Bay Drive. Only the right lane getting by, causing some delays through this area. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Today, partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain, high 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 75. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance with a high 88.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes so business each and every weekday at 8 a.m. here on 1250 WHNZ. So I invite you to please tune in each and every morning and take a break from all the political talk and negativity that seems to contaminate our airwaves these days with a show with a positive message about business owners, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay and regional communities. Take a moment to learn more about the show over at tampabayradio.com, where you can see all of our past shows and see our upcoming guests. And please follow me on all the different social networking sites, facebook.com/That Business Show, and Twitter under Jamie_Maloney, just to name a few. Currently talk with Kara McAllister, Media Relations Manager with AT&T. On the first segment there, we're doing a little topical discussion there on hurricane preparedness coming up on June 1st, so something that people need to be aware of, especially all the business owners out there, to make sure that they have a plan in place ready to outlast a storm should we have another severe storm season like we did back in 2004. But this segment, I want to talk about AT&T's It Can Wait campaign. Learn more about this at itcanwait.com. But this is a program or a campaign designed to fight texting and driving. I'll let Karen explain this more.
Okay. Well, we like to talk about It Can Wait before the summer starts, because this is a time when so many families are traveling and also when many teen drivers are on the road. So It Can Wait started about 4 years ago when AT&T's CEO Randall Stevenson urged all Americans to not text and drive, but particularly teen drivers. Number one, because texting is the primary way that teens communicate. And then also because they're new drivers and they're forming their driving habits. So we want
I don't
them
think
to
it's
learn.
just a teen driver problem, though. It seems like every time I'm driving, I look over, there's somebody on a phone.
Right.
And so I don't
Certainly
think it's
not.
yeah, I don't think it's just a teen problem. I mean, is it safe to text? I mean, at stoplights, things of that nature. I don't know. I mean, is this type of stuff, should we not be texting at all? I don't know. I mean, these are types of discussion points that are coming up these days.
Right. No, it's certainly not just a teen issue. Texting while driving happens across the board, and many times we hear from teens that they learned their habits from their parents, from watching their parents text and drive. So we always ask teens to encourage their parents to not do it and to help be that designated texter.
Right.
As I like to say.
That's one of the tips that you have a designated texter inside the car. And so as part of the It Can Wait program, or campaign, I should say, you have a pledge that people can take. Tell me about the pledge.
We have a pledge, yes. If you go to itcanwait.com, you can sign an online pledge. So far, more than 6 million people have pledged online to not text and drive. So that's awesome, but we really want to ensure that people are living up to it. And there are several ways that you can do that using our technology. We have an app called AT&T Drive Mode, and the app will silence any incoming texts while you're driving, so you're not even tempted to respond to a text. Because there is an urge. When we get an alert that we have a text, we just want to see what it is.
Okay,
And
so
then
this is AT&T Drive Mode. It's not something I'm familiar with. Tell me a little bit more. Is this available in, I guess, all the app stores on the iPhone and the Android devices?
Yes,
okay.
Both Android and iPhones.
Okay,
Yes, you can
and I'm
download
assuming
it.
it's probably a free device, correct?
Right,
okay.
free for AT&T customers.
Okay, so how does the app work? Does it know when you're driving, for instance? Does it pick up the speed? Or tell me a little bit about how this app functions.
So once you download the app, once you set it up, you don't have to activate each time you're driving. It knows based on speed. And so it will silence any text. It sends an automated message to say that you're driving and will not be responding until you get to your destination.
That's interesting. I wonder, but how does, what we were talking about just a second ago, when you're at stoplights, things of that nature, does it think that you've gotten to your destination when you're stopped for a few minutes at a stoplight, or does it wait for a prolonged stop, for instance, before it kicks on? Do you happen to know that?
Right. No, it'll wait until you're actually at your destination. Just a stoplight will not let you respond to a text or know that you have a text.
Okay. And I also see that y'all are running another campaign in conjunction with this, the hashtag X campaign. Kind of goes hand in hand with this. Tell me a little bit about hashtag X.
Yes, that's a campaign that we urge teens and really anybody to use to alert their friends and family that they're about to get in their car and they won't be responding to text. So if you're in the middle of a conversation, a texting conversation, or on social media, you can just send that very simple shorthand message, hashtag X, that says, I'm going to be driving, I won't be responding, or I'm pausing the conversation. And that you'll...
I've not heard it. Has this caught on a lot in social media? Is this something that is used in all the different, from Twitter or Facebook also, or is it just, in a text messaging? Tell me, is this something that's really catching on or what?
Well, it's a fairly new campaign for AT&T, but we're hoping, like I said, in particular, that teens will pick up on this in using social media or simply in texting. So that their friends learn this shorthand as well. Okay,
and also I see that AT&T through this program has a simulator that people can, simulate the texting and driving. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, so I often will take up the driving simulator to various events and high schools so that teens can get an idea in a safe environment what it's like when they're texting and driving. It's kind of like a video game. You can see in real life how quickly you can just cruise through a stop sign when you're texting and when you're distracted.
How does the simulator work? Where is it available, and how does this operate? Is this something you go on and log in and then you text and you're doing something on your computer? Tell me a little bit about how this simulator works.
Well, you can try it online at itcanwait.com. And like I said, I often will take it to events and schools so that teen drivers can get an idea of what it's like in a safe environment.
What are you hearing from the teens out there? When you tell them about this program, do you find that a lot of them are against texting and driving? Do you find like a lot of them still don't think it's that dangerous? Tell me a little bit about what you're hearing from the youth when you're at the schools.
A lot of teens do seem to understand that it's dangerous, but they're also really good at texting. I watch them.
What if you speak into the device while you're driving? Is that acceptable? You have the voice to text functions, and do they give you that excuse a lot?
Yes, I will hear that. But overall, it's about distracted driving,
right?
And whether the driver is really paying attention to what's around them and not their device.
Right. But people, you encourage them to take the pledge at itcanwait.com. And we've got to wrap it up. But Karen, thank you very much for giving us some tips today on hurricane preparedness, as well as AT&T's It Can Wait program. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Jamie.
Absolutely. And that was Karen McAllister, Media Relations Manager with AT&T. Stay tuned. Coming back from the break, I'm going to be talking all about foreclosures on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring-type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
When your AC quits, lots of companies want your business. My review proves Harold Home Services earns it with super fast service, a free service call, and a guarantee to arrive at your home within 1 hour. And if they're not, you get 20% off your repair. Plus, Harold Home Services offers upfront pricing and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you get the double protection of my Make It Right guarantee. Call Harold Home Services now.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Back on northbound 50th Street just before Causeway has a left lane blocked. Also eastbound side the Courtney Campbell Causeway. That is very slow into Tampa. Same goes for the Howard Franklin Bridge. And still big delays on westbound I-4 approaching McIntosh. Crash off to the left-hand side there. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough. Traffic tip line at 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Staples. Staples has everything your business needs to keep your employees energized. From coffee, water, and soda to granola bars and chips. Get a 30.6-ounce can of Maxwell House Original Roast Coffee for just $5.99. Offer ends 5/23. While supplies last. See store or website for details. Staples. Make more happen.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Expect delays across the Howard Franklin Bridge approaching Tampa due to an accident right before Kennedy Boulevard that's off to the side. Also a crash northbound Clearwater Largo Road just south of West Bay Drive. Only the right lane getting by, causing some delays through this area. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Utica Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
Here's today's forecast. Mix of clouds and sun, a 30% chance of rain in the afternoon, going up to 88. Tonight, partly cloudy, down to 73. Tuesday, partly sunny, 50-50 rain chance, highs around 88. 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Keep in mind, you can find this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And also learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Well, I'm going to be the guest for the second half of the show, something that I haven't done for a while. I'm going to talk about my business, which is the business of selling bank-owned property, something that I do quite frequently with realtors, and done several other interviews, appeared on Bloomberg a couple of times talking about this subject. So it's actually, real estate is actually how I got to the radio to begin with. I started doing a real estate show back in September 2013. Some of you may remember me from that, Mondays at noon, the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show, where I discussed a wealth of different topics on real estate each and every Monday, and I enjoyed radio so much I decided to branch out and do a 5-day-a-week show and talking to the different business owners and entrepreneurs, and we touch on real estate from time to time on the show, as a number of my contacts are obviously in the real estate field. But I want to talk about specifically some of the areas of my business where people can pick up some great information. And like I said at the top of the show, I specialize in the sale of bank-owned properties. I'm a nationally ranked Coldwell Banker agent number 4 in the country last year, with over 270 home sales and about 1,400 across my 8 years of selling bank-owned properties. One of the clients that I work with is HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and they are one of my big clients, and an area of real estate that confounds many real estate professionals as well as buyers. It's a segment of foreclosed properties that is unlike any of the other bank-owned properties out there. So first off, I'm going to tell you the website to go to find all these properties is HUDHomestore.com. Again, that's HUDHomestore.com. And these are, again, government-owned properties. And when I say government-owned properties, I'm talking about properties that have been through foreclosure by a lender and have since transferred over to HUD via the insurance program, which is what HUD is. HUD is not a lender. They are an insurer of lenders. So when you go to a bank, but a bank such as a Wells Fargo or a Citi, and you make a loan with them, they will allow you to make a lower down payment of 3.5% down, which because of the insurance that HUD offers, and they won't require as much money down. So HUD insures the lender against default. So if the property were to go to foreclosure, the lender forecloses on you and then files an insurance claim with HUD, and then as part of the settlement process, the property conveys over to HUD. HUD then acquires the property and they put it on the market for sale. Now, these properties are unique in the sense that, for one, it's a bid system online at HUDHomestore.com. A lot of the bank-owned properties, the selling agents will will submit the offers to the bank, but not so with HUD. These properties are a online bid system, and the listing agents do not see the offers. That's the number one question I get from realtors each and every day. So the realtors do not see the properties that they are offering. Do not see the offers as they come into the system. Now, when the HUD properties are first acquired, they are appraised prior to going onto the market. Now, this is an area that is has changed since back in December of last year. The properties used to be appraised, and then the buyers would know what the FHA, the FHA appraisal was prior to going on to the marketplace. But, the appraisal was no longer the appraisal is no longer given to the buyers. And, Steve, can you go to a quick break for a moment?
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
Have you considered a reverse mortgage as part of your retirement financial plan? For homeowners age 62 or older, a reverse mortgage from Access Reverse Mortgage is a safe, economical way to turn your home's equity into cash or monthly income. Access Reverse Mortgage is a family-owned company based right here in the Tampa Bay area for the past 10 years. They are A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau and Florida's leading reverse mortgage provider. Call 727-347-0305 or go to accessreverse.com to start your research today. NMLS number 4566. That's 727-347-0305.
Are you looking for a local real estate firm that knows the market and has your interests in mind? Then contact Jim McPeak at McPeak Real Estate Firm, a family-owned business whose agents have over 60-plus years of experience in the Tampa Bay market. Many of the agents are military veterans that know the VA process for buying a home and are proud to help our military members in any way they can. From residential to commercial real estate, McPeak Real Estate Firm is here to help. Contact Jim at 813-495-3875 and learn more at McPeakTeam.com.
Hey there, it's Lynn Wise, the founder of Wise Business Advisors and Contractor Business Alliance. I am a certified value builder advisor, and I help business owners build a company that will allow them to have the business that they dreamed of when they started. Why did you go into business for yourself? I'm sure it was not to work 100 hours a week with no work-life balance and no financial freedom. What am I talking about? I'm talking about building a business that provides value to you and your family now and in the future. You can learn about the 8 essential areas of a business that you must build to have a business that can be an asset for your future. Go to wisebusinessadvisors.com and take the Value Builder score. It is free and will deliver your score immediately on how you are doing on building a valuable business for you and your family. Or call me at 772-834-8513 to learn more about the Value Builder system.
Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of That Business Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING.
And now for a message from Gerber Life Grow Up Plan. Attention parents and grandparents, do you want to help give your child a great financial head start in life? You can. For just pennies a day now, you can give them $10,000 in whole life insurance that doubles to $20,000 at no extra cost during age 18. Later on, regardless to their health or job, your child has the right to buy additional coverage at adult rates, providing total coverage of up to $100,000. The Grow Up Plan also builds cash value you can borrow from. Low childhood rates that lock in for the life of the policy, benefits that double, plus the right to add more. That's security and valuable protection from Gerber Life, a name known and respected for generations. Get started now. Call Gerber Life Grow Up Plan at 800-309-6331. That's 800-309-6331. Remember, it costs you just pennies a day now. For free information or to sign up now, call 800-309-6331. That's 800-309-6331. Gerber Life Insurance Company, White Plains, New York, 10605. Policy Form Series GPP 12. Policy Form ICC 12 GPP. The Grow Up Insurance policy contains terms which may affect the benefits provided. Please contact us for costs and details of coverage. Interest rates apply to any policy loans.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Southbound US 19 just south of Tampa Road. Crash there, still blocking the right-hand lane. Crosstown Expressway, the upper deck into downtown Tampa, very slow this morning. Also westbound I.
This report is brought to you by Staples. Staples has everything your business needs to keep your employees energized. From coffee, water, and soda to granola bars and chips. Get a 42-ounce bag of M&M's, plain or peanut, for just $8.99. Offer ends 5/23 while supplies last. See store or website for details. Staples. Make more happen.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
Expect delays across the Howard Franklin Bridge approaching Tampa due to an accident right before Kennedy Boulevard that's off to the side. Also a crash northbound Clearwater Largo Road just south of West Bay Drive. Only the right lane getting by, causing some delays through this area. If you see traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
Today, partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain, high 90. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 75. Tomorrow, a 30% rain chance with a high 88.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that to all my listeners. Get a anxiety from time to time. I mentioned that on my show from sometimes, and I got like a hot flash. My mind goes blank, and something that comes and goes here and there. But I think I'm back on track now. I had to take a break and go get a quick cup of water there. Kind of got rambling a little bit too much there, and my mind went blank and started to get a hot flash. And next thing you know, I don't even know what I'm talking about. So, anyways, let's get back on the track. As I was talking about government-owned properties, and the appraisal used to be done and buyers would know what the appraised value was, but the appraisal is no longer supplied to an FHA buyer. And what that means is when the property is appraised, they will then, it determines which category the property is going to go into. It's terms of insurability. The property is either going to be FHA insurable, meaning the property needs means no repairs, or the property is going to be insured with a repair escrow, meaning the property is going to have $5,000 and under of FHA required repairs, or if the property is uninsurable, meaning that it's going to have greater than $5,000 worth of repairs. And let me go back for a moment here. I want to talk a little bit about the different bid periods, and I want to mention the lottery period. The lottery period is a period whereby properties, people that are in the Good Neighbor Next Door program, they can get these properties for 50% off the appraised value. Now, this is a bid period that's only available during the first 7 days of the bid period, and you'll find these by going over to HUDHomestore.com. And if you're in the Good Neighbor Next Door program, you can get these properties for 50% off the appraised value. Now, people in the Good Neighbor Next Door program are your teachers, firefighters, emergency responders, and their properties in certain areas designated under national of the NSP program that Obama signed back in 2009, 2010. And there is a 7-day bid period where, again, people, if you're a teacher, a firefighter, or an emergency responder, you can get the property for 50% off the appraised value. The caveat to the program is there's not a lot of inventory, and so I always advise people to that are considering this program that they need to be looking for the property. Probably take about a year or so to start looking for a property, because there's really not a lot out there. Actually, if you look in the whole state of Florida, you're only going to see probably about 10 or so at any given time. and they are not advertised in the MLS because there is no selling agent commission offered. And for properties to be in the MLS, they have to offer a selling agent commission. And so it's an underutilized program, something that brokers do not push. But if you're a teacher, firefighter, or emergency responder, something you should be mindful of, and just find a broker, a listing broker such as myself if you see one. And again, you go to HUDHomestore.com, search the properties in your area, and if the bid period says lottery, then you are in one of those classes. You can, if the property is listed for $100,000, again, that's the appraised value because the property is appraised prior to going onto the market. You could get the property for $50,000. Very underutilized program, but one of the HUD's the programs that they expect the listing brokers such as myself to market to the public. After that, it comes the what's called the exclusive bid period. This is where owner-occupants have priority, and a lot of people are familiar with the different restrictions that are on the bank-owned properties. And going back to what I was saying in the last segment there with the appraisal, when the property is appraised, if it is deemed to be FHA insurable, meaning it qualifies for an FHA loan, and there are two categories within the insurability factor, whether it's fully insured, meaning that it does not have any lender-required repairs needed onto the property, or if it needs up to $5,000 in repairs and under. The property would then go into the exclusive bid period. That's the owner-occupant bid period, and that is an initial 15-day period for owner-occupants only. So HUD gives priority to the owner-occupant buyers and keeps out the investors. So you can get these homes at a good deal. I will say that HUD homes are generally undervalued in our area. A lot of these properties go very quickly, and they usually don't make it to the investor periods. And within that first 15-day window, you'll see a bid clock at the HUD website. The first 10 days of that window is what's known as a sealed bid period. And offers go into the system, and nobody can HUD does not accept an offer during that period. So at the end of the 10 days, on the 11th business day, representative at HUD then reviews all the offers, and they will accept the offer with the highest net proceeds to HUD. If the property does not have an offer that is acceptable to HUD at that point, the property remains on the market for another 5 days, open only to owner occupants. And then on day 16 is when the investors can bid. And again, after day 11, it goes to a 24-hour bid period. So you got to think that each day is a different bid period. So offers that go in today up to midnight is considered the Monday bid period, and then the offers are reviewed the prior day. The bid clock on the website confuses a lot of people, but each day is a 24-hour bid period less that first 10 days, which is a 10-day bid period. If the property is not FHA insurable, meaning that a buyer cannot get an FHA loan on the property, it then is open only to investor buyers after day 5. The first 5 days, let me step back there. If the property is not FHA insurable, it has a 5-day owner-occupant bid window instead of a 15-day owner-occupant bid period, and then investors can bid on day 6. And all this information is over at HUDHomestore.com. And another program that is very underutilized in the area is the HUD $100 down program. All properties in the state of Florida qualify for $100 down for FHA buyers. And I always want to be clear on this, that the buyer is not going to show up with just $100 at closing. In addition, they're going to have to put down a deposit of either $500 or $1,000, depending on the purchase price. But the $100 steps into place for the 3.5% down payment. And so it instead of putting 3.5% down, you're putting $100 down, but you have closing costs. And with the government-owned properties, the buyer pays all closing costs. In the state of Florida, it's traditional for a seller to pay dock stamps on the deed and the title insurance for the new homeowner, but not so with the government properties. The buyer pays all of the closing costs unless they make an offer with closing cost assistance added into the offer when they submit the bid on the HUD website. They can get up to 3% in closing cost assistance, but again, you've got to calculate in the costs for the documentary stamps on the deed and the owner's title insurance policies to traditionally seller-paid closing costs. And so HUD Home Store, an excellent resource for properties in our area. Again, for the realtors that are listening out there, the properties are generally underpriced. They do go with multiple offers. I don't see the offers, and as I mentioned in the last segment there, but I do get a lot of calls on the properties, and I always say if you see a property and it stands out, for whatever reason in terms of price versus size, and you rush out to see it, well, you're not the only one that sees it. In this day and age, we're a very connected society, and obviously other people see that, and it's very advisable to make an aggressive offer. Before, when the properties were appraised and the appraisal was being handed over to buyers using FHA financing, the list price was the appraised value. As a result of the change that came back in December of last year, where they no longer supply the appraisal to the buyers, you no longer are tied to that appraisal, meaning that if you're an FHA buyer, you can bid over the list price and be subject to the new appraisal. But before, when the appraisal was provided to the borrowers, if the property were listed for $100,000, for example, and you thought the property was underpriced and you decided to bid $105,000, for example, well, HUD would only lend up to 96.5% of the appraised value, so the $5,000 difference would have to be supplied by the borrower. But that's no longer the case since the appraisals are no longer supplied to the buyer, and the buyers are no longer bound to those. And when I talk about the appraisal, I'm only talking about buyers using FHA financing. So if you're using conventional VA or just buying with outright cash, those that the appraisal does not apply to you. And again, you can find all this information over at the website hudhomestore.com. I want to take a quick moment and talk about a couple other property or a couple other of our clients. Fannie Mae, another big inventory source for bank-owned properties, and a client of ours as well. Their website is homepath.com. Now, you'll see on the site where you submit offers, realtors submit the offers, and also going back to the government properties, the HUD homes, you have to have a realtor submit the offers for you as well. So this is not something the general public can submit on their behalf. They have to have a realtor involved. But with the Fannie Mae properties, if they're on the website, they are available. Now, Fannie Mae will put these properties up on their website prior to going onto the market. But if they are on the website and they say available, then they're available. If they say under contract they're not, then they are not available. But homepath.com, that is the resource for Fannie Mae. And Fannie Mae is different than HUD in that Fannie Mae is basically the secondary market along with Freddie Mac. They buy loans from the lenders, and then they securitize the assets, and then they sell them on Wall Street as mortgage-backed securities. And between Fannie and Freddie, they account for 60-70% or more of the mortgage market that is out there. So an excellent resource for bank-owned properties, and they're oftentimes running promotions, closing cost assistance, realtor bonuses, things of that nature. And again, homepath.com is a great resource for that. And realtors, the listing agents, do see and present those offers. And again, as I mentioned with HUD is unique in the sense that the listing agents don't see the offers. And but with Fannie Mae, they do, and as we do with all the other properties. Now, I want to talk a moment about making an effective offer on a property. The first thing that the banks are going to look for is, are you qualified for the mortgage? If you're buying with cash, great. But if you're buying with a mortgage, very important that you obtain a full loan approval prior to even going to submit an offer on a bank-owned property. You're oftentimes up against cash offers, and if you just have a pre-qualification letter, meaning that you have not been approved through the underwriting process, you're putting yourself at a distinct disadvantage. So I stress this on my program a number of times, especially when I was doing the real estate show, the importance of getting a full loan approval. And when I say a full loan approval, I'm not talking about a pre-qualification letter where you call the lender and they just run your credit and issue you a general pre-qualification letter. A full loan approval means that you yourself, the borrower, have submitted your W-2s, all the different your tax returns, all the different documents that are requested on behalf of your lender, and you yourself are actually approved, so that the only condition to getting a loan on a property is the property itself, an acceptable appraisal, and clear title. And if you have that, then your offer is just as good as cash at that point. So very important to obtain full loan approval. One of my lending partners here on the show, Bud Spriggs of the mortgage firm, reach out to me and get him in touch with you. But take some time and obtain a full loan approval prior to going on with your offer. Another important point is the inspection period. Don't come into the offer with a 15, 20-day inspection period. The state contract to the realtors that are out there, it defaults to 15 days. And if you don't write something else in that spot, you're really putting your buyer, whether you're the buyer or the realtor, at a disadvantage. The listing agents are going to present the offer to the seller with a huge inspection period, and the bank clients do not like that. So very important to minimize your inspection periods to 5 days and under 7, and is acceptable. But keep those short. That's something that we're looking at. Another thing is a good deposit. If it's a cash offer, you're looking at about a 10% deposit. And if you're doing financing, anything up to about $100,000 is acceptable in our market. Anything above that, you want to discuss that with your realtor. But a good deposit is something that's the seller is going to look at. So those are the three things right there, primarily when we're looking at the offers. The type of financing, is the buyer fully approved for the loan if it's not cash? What type of an inspection period are they looking at? And also the deposit as well. Those are the three things right there to making an effective offer on a bank-owned property on everything but the HUD homes. With HUD, the deposits are non-negotiable. They're either $500 or $1,000, and inspection periods are set at 15 calendar days for owner-occupants and no inspection period for investors. Well, I got to wrap it up. I could probably talk for another hour about different tips and the different clients on this program, but that's all the time I've got for today. Keep in mind, this show is on weekdays at 8 a.m., and it's a show that focuses on business owners, entrepreneurs, and people making a difference in and around the Tampa Bay and regional communities. Learn more about the show over at tampabayradio.com, where you can catch all the past shows and also see the upcoming guests via the guest on the homepage, and also our past guests via the guest network tab. I'll see y'all back in here tomorrow at 8 a.m. on That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.